I mean, the league was built on the backs of talented black women like yourself. I mean, these white girls come along, right? Karen Adler, Caitlin Clark, and they're instant superstars.
The one bit where all these white girls come along and they're instant superstars, it's only Caitlin Clark that was the instant superstar.
You gotta admit, there's something special about her game, though, right?
Yeah, she's white.
Their argument is that she's popular because she's white. Then why didn't Stewie turn the W on its head after winning 4 natties with UConn? Why didn't Sabrina turn the W on its head after being called like a media darling?
Here's what Caitlin Clark could do. Y'all come at me like this, I'm not doing any interviews with you. Y'all keep coming at it with these dumbasses, Monica McNutt. I'm done with you. I'm not doing interviews with you. We'll go play in the Unrivaled League, and let's see which league gets going. And then let's see where the hell we're at. Your dumbasses at ESPN want to get up there and be racist as hell towards me. I don't participate in racism. Next time I hear that bull, we ain't playing in a game that you're televised.
She was just assaulted. Not with fists, but with words, twisted narratives, and a script meant to smear her name on national television.
Here we go again. Why is Caitlin Clark popular?
People aren't spending 3 hours of their time to watch Caitlin Clark play basketball because they're racially motivated.
Just 2 minutes ago, Caitlin Clark's name was dragged into a fictional drama on Law and Order. But the insult? That part was very real.
Yeah, so she was good with that elbow you threw at her face?
I didn't say she was good with it, but she joked that it was good for the game, that it would get us lots of media coverage.
She may have a whole bunch of turnovers, but she does things in a way that you haven't seen. She does things that are exciting to watch.
The episode didn't just take a shot, it launched a full-blown attack on who she is, suggesting that her popularity comes not from her skill, but from the color of her skin.
If it was because she was white, Sabrina Ionescu would have changed and brought the WNBA and turned it on its head, but she is not turning the W upside down on its head like Caitlin Clark is.
This isn't just a storyline. This is a cultural hit job. A slap in the face to every stat she's earned, every game she's dominated, and every record she's shattered.
You stand up to bullies. You don't acquiesce. Because when you acquiesce or apologize, it will never stop. You stand up to bullies. You tell them go F themselves.
So let's set the record straight. If you're someone who truly respects what Caitlin Clark has done for the game, if you stand for talent over toxicity, then drop a CC22 in the comments right now.
There's the two sides who think she is only popular and does have the notoriety and recognition that she does because she is white. There is the other side that says you guys are crazy, you're all jealous of her, and she is just talented.
Let the world know. We see the truth, and we're not staying silent. Because this is personal.
When's the last time you heard about Law & Order? That Law & Order scene cannot be written without Caitlin Clark. That mention cannot happen without Caitlin Clark because you couldn't say it for Elena Delle Donne or Brianna Stewart or Sabrina Ionescu or Sue Bird or Paige Beckers.
On April 10th, a fresh episode of Law & Order Special Victims Unit aired, Season 24, Episode 18, titled Bubble Wrap. And in the middle of a storyline supposedly about justice, the writers decided to do something that had nothing to do with law and everything to do with character assassination.
So there is an episode of Law & Order that was just aired on April 10th, and it's called Bubble Wrap. It is Season 24, Episode 18. I think that a lot of people, myself included, are very tired of this narrative when there's so much proof of the reason Caitlin Clark being popular, and it is because what she does on the court.
In a scene that shocked many fans, the dialogue took a sharp, uncomfortable turn, and Caitlin Clark's name was dragged right into it.
Clark's popularity and the reality of the fans that are celebrating her is so different than what you see on social media. You never hear, "Go white girl!"
Let's break it down. The script accused players like Caitlin Clark, alongside a fictional white player named Karen Adler, of essentially stealing the spotlight. The exact line? The league was built on the backs of talented black women like yourself, and then these white girls come along, Karen Adler, Caitlin Clark, and they're instant superstars, getting all the endorsements and sponsorships.
There's just so much statistical data to prove why people are invested and interested and can't stop looking at Caitlin Clark. Like, she has broken a record for records. As a rookie, she has done things nobody else has done. Stats do not require race as a prerequisite. They just are what they are.
Let that sink in. They weren't discussing Caitlyn's record-breaking three-pointers, her unmatched vision on the court, or her ability to bring millions of viewers to a league that was begging for relevance. No, instead they reduced her success to one ugly implication. She's only big because she's white.
There are women that were worthy of coverage prior to her arriving, and I just will not be silenced when it comes to that.
You don't have leverage all the time. And when you do have leverage like Caitlin Clark has, you damn sure better use it.
This wasn't just dialogue. It was a loaded narrative intentionally injected into a primetime show watched by millions. A fictional, live assault on Caitlyn's integrity, masked as entertainment. And what's worse, the scene didn't stop at subtle shade. It doubled down. When one character suggested there was something special about Caitlyn's game, the reply was ice cold. Yeah, she's white. That's it? That's the entire reason?
Caitlin Clark mentioned on Law & Order.
You've been talking trash about her for a while, right? Saying that she was a joke, that you were going to kick her ass.
Come on, man. It was just talk.
Look, I get it. I mean, the league was built on the backs of talented black women like yourself. I mean, these white girls come along, right? Karen Adler, Caitlin Clark, and they're instant superstars. Everybody's saying they put the league on the map.
And they're getting all the endorsements and sponsorships. Yeah, it's messed up.
You got to admit there's something special about her game, though, right?
Yeah, she's white. But I hear you. Cam could play. I had a lot of respect for her.
Really, just didn't look that way.
It was a big game. We're both really competitive, and we got into it. But that was it. We even talked after the game for a bit, cleared the air.
Yeah, so she was good with that elbow you threw at her face?
Wouldn't say she was good with it, but she joked that it was good for the game, that it would get us lots of media coverage.
This is what happens when truth is replaced with jealousy, and excellence becomes uncomfortable for those who'd rather rewrite the story than respect the player. Law & Order, a show that used to stand for facts and fairness, allowed its platform to be used as a racial hit piece, embedding real-world resentment into a fictional crime scene.
And Caitlin Clark does have a further three-point range than even Steph Curry, and that is just kind of bonkers. Think about how popular Steph Curry is. Caitlin Clark shoots farther away on average than he does.
Here's the irony. This attack only proves Caitlyn's influence. She's such a dominant force, such a cultural disruptor that even Hollywood couldn't resist throwing a punch. But let's call this what it is. It's not a tribute, it's a targeted strike. Not because Caitlyn broke the rules, but because she broke the mold. And here's the real kicker.
It all comes back to Caitlin Clark's popularity. I believe it is based on basketball more than anything else. Look at what went viral from the Letterman clip, her playing basketball.
Caitlyn didn't ask to be in that episode. She didn't write that script, but she's the one being judged for it. They tried to erase her talent and paint her success as privilege, all while ignoring what she actually does on the court. So when people say Caitlin Clark was assaulted in a live show, they're not exaggerating. This was an ideological ambush. Written, rehearsed, and televised. And now it's our turn to respond, with truth, facts, and fire.
Caitlin Clark made the comments to Time magazine. Monica McNutt recently said on BBC, perhaps a big reason for Caitlin Clark's popularity is she's white and from the Midwest.
The Monica McNutt stuff, and specifically with this level of media, we're talking about with ESPN, their issue with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark represents Trump America, MAGA America. They see her and they say, this is someone that everybody who roots for probably voted for Donald Trump, and I hate Donald Trump, and I hate those red hats, and I hate everything that represents to me. Because to me, that represents racism.
Let's rip the bandage off this tired, baseless narrative. Caitlin Clark is not popular because she's white. She's popular because she's phenomenal. We are not talking about some average role player here. We're talking about a once-in-a-generation athlete who stepped into a league with a reputation for struggling to captivate audiences and instantly turned the spotlight on. Not through marketing gimmicks, not through skin tone, but through game-breaking performances, jaw-dropping highlights, and unshakable composure under pressure.
Prevailing narrative that has been created around this season's WNBA play is that it's the league versus Caitlin Clark, and that is just absolutely false. It is unfair to the women that have been there building this league to this moment so that Caitlin Clark's popularity could take it to the next level.
There's a method to this madness. When given a chance to talk about Caitlin Clark, they're always going to racialize it and try to demonize Caitlin Clark's fan base.
Let's start with her stats, because numbers don't lie, and they sure as hell don't see color. As a rookie in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has already shattered records most veterans only dream about. She's been leading in assists, racking up points with logo range bombs, and pulling off highlight reel plays that have people tuning in night after night. And this isn't just fan service, it's measurable impact. She's the only rookie in WNBA history to consistently post double-doubles while being double-teamed game after game. Her court vision rivals NBA elite. Her basketball IQ is off the charts. She's not just a shooter, she's a floor general, a leader, and a creator.
And this is further proof of that, because it wouldn't have made its way onto the show if she didn't play in the WNBA.
Still think it's about being white? Then tell me why Sabrina Ionescu, a fellow white star and college phenom from Oregon, didn't shake the WNBA the way Caitlin did. She was heavily hyped coming out of college, she had endorsements, she had ESPN coverage, yet the WNBA didn't explode. Breanna Stewart, arguably one of the most efficient and consistent players the league has ever seen, she's white too. But again, the league didn't skyrocket when she entered. Nobody accused them of stealing the spotlight or getting unfair endorsements because of their skin tone. So why now? Why Caitlin? The truth is simple. Clark is different.
She's different. She's a white girl from the middle of corn country.
They like Caitlin Clark because she's not a victim, because she doesn't seem to be angry. And so they find her relatable.
She didn't come from a legacy powerhouse like UConn. She didn't have a stacked team to lean on. She carried Iowa, a mid-level team with no historical dominance, to back-to-back national championship games. She did it by putting up 40-plus points on the biggest stages, humiliating top programs with step-back threes from the logo and threading passes through defenders like a surgeon. The kind of basketball she plays is electrifying, and that's what has captivated the world. Let's talk about that three-point range. Caitlin Clark's average shooting distance is farther than Steph Curry's. Read that again. The man who revolutionized the NBA with his deep-range shooting is now being matched and surpassed in distance by a WNBA rookie.
Former black players have decided, hey, we're going to hate on Caitlin Clark constantly to elevate ourselves, but also trigger her fans so that they'll keep coming to games and rooting for her, and it's going to elevate the entire league.
That's not hype. That's historic. And people are noticing. Shane Gillis, one of the biggest names in stand-up comedy, openly admitted he was starstruck when he saw her. He's a guy who jokes about everything, yet when it came to Caitlin, all jokes stopped. He called the Pacers arena the house Caitlin Clark built. And he meant it. He invited her to his green room and openly admitted he was nervous to even talk to her.
Every single one of you WNBA players, you better pray that Caitlin Clark doesn't get injured, because she's keeping your league afloat.
Juju Watkins goes down with a devastating injury that might keep her out next season. God forbid. If the same thing happens to Caitlin Clark, the WNBA will not survive. You have one young woman carrying the entire league.
Michael Thompson, a former NBA champion, the father of Golden State Warrior Klay Thompson, and a man who's played with Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he froze when he saw Caitlin. Couldn't even say hello. That's the kind of magnetic presence she has. She's not just moving the needle, she is the needle. But of course, when a white woman dominates in a league historically populated by black stars, the conversation becomes complicated. Some want to simplify it by saying, well, she's getting all this attention because she's white. That's not analysis. That's envy dressed up as outrage.
She's not Angel Reese, who can barely make a layup. She's not Asia Wilson, who is 6'4" or 6'5" and completely unrelatable to most women.
Because if race were truly the reason, then every white player would be a global phenomenon. But they're not. Caitlin Clark is the only one who's forcing ESPN to break ratings records for WNBA games. She's the only one who's turning WNBA jerseys into bestsellers. She's the only one who's filling arenas in cities that used to have empty seats. What people are witnessing is something new, something rare, a player who combines Steph Curry's range, Sue Bird's court vision, Diana Taurasi's swagger, and Kobe Bryant's killer instinct, all in one. That's not about race, that's about greatness.
And little girls said, hey, I can relate to Caitlin Clark. She's like us. She has a boyfriend. There's a lot of parents that feel real comfortable taking their kids to a game.
Still not convinced? Then take a look at the diversity of her fan base. It's not just white girls in Iowa wearing Caitlin Clark jerseys. She has black fans, Latino fans, Asian fans, international fans. You can find people from all backgrounds celebrating her highlights and defending her from the hate. To claim she's only loved by white people is not only false, it's insulting to the millions who see her for who she truly is. The most captivating player in women's basketball today. She isn't a media creation. She's a movement. And when movements disrupt comfort zones, people start reaching for excuses to tear them down. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark is not trending because she's white. She's trending because she's dominant.
Monica has figured out a way to make the WNBA relevant and profitable long term. The lady from the BBC, she seems to be asking Monica McDougal how the WNBA can maintain their momentum from last season. There's an easy answer to that question. More than likely, they can't.
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling, and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games. But I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America. And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that she may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons.
Where are these Angel Reese fans? When I see Chicago Bravado games on TV, the only things I see are missed layups and empty seats.
Let's cut through the noise. If any other player, especially a black player, were doing exactly what Caitlin Clark is doing right now, they'd be hailed as the face of the league, the future of basketball, and the greatest thing to ever happen to the WNBA. ESPN would run 24/7 highlight reels. Twitter would be flooded with think pieces praising her every move. Nike would be dropping a new signature shoe line every quarter. And yet, Caitlin Clark, she breaks records, draws millions of viewers, packs arenas, and still, some people are desperately trying to paint her as a problem rather than a pioneer. Why? Because she doesn't fit the narrative they want to promote. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Caitlin Clark represents something the media machine wasn't prepared for. She's a white woman dominating in a space where dominance has been historically defined by black women. And instead of embracing her as a gift to the game, some critics are treating her like she's an invader. Not because of how she plays, but because of who she is.
Number one revenue sport in America, what do you think it is? The NFL. How much you think they make? $17 billion. The NBA, a little over $11 billion. You guys are a $150 to $200 million company. You're operating at a loss every single year. You've never made money. It's called a zombie company. You're subsidized by the NBA.
Let's go back to the Law & Order episode for a moment. The writers could have simply acknowledged Caitlin's impact and moved on. But no, they had to throw in that bitter line. Yeah, she's white. That wasn't just lazy writing, it was a deliberate jab. A jab aimed at delegitimizing her success and turning viewers against her. And it worked, at least for some. The episode sparked outrage not because Caitlin did anything wrong, but because it echoed a sentiment that's been whispered, tweeted, and even shouted in recent months. She doesn't deserve this much attention. But let's ask a better question. Why wouldn't she deserve it? She's playing better than most. She's drawing more fans than anyone. She's putting the WNBA on more screens than ever before. She's making highlight reels go viral every single night. She has NBA players, comedians, celebrities, and even former haters admitting they're now watching women's basketball because of her.
She's not playing with anger. She's not playing with a sense of entitlement. And yes, people find that relatable.
Caitlin Clark has accomplished in 6 months what the league has tried to do for 2 decades, make the WNBA matter to the masses. Yet instead of praising her for that, some people want to dig into her race, suggest she's stealing attention, and act like her success is some sort of racial injustice. That's not equity. That's jealousy. Plain and simple. And the hypocrisy runs deep. We live in a culture that screams for inclusion, celebrates diversity, and claims to want fair representation. But when a white athlete steps into a space and performs at the highest level, suddenly people start moving the goalposts. Now it's no longer about performance. Now it's about race. Now it's about politics. Now it's about privilege.
What happened is Caitlin Clark in her sophomore year and really in her junior year just started excelling and doing things that nobody had ever seen a female basketball player do. Like nobody had consistently been shooting these from the logo passes.
She shoots logo threes, passes the ball like Magic Johnson, scores a lot of points, leads the league in assists. She's a great, great player, and she plays and shoots and releases the ball like Steph Curry. So there's the attraction to the exciting style of play.
But here's the twist. Caitlin Clark has earned everything she's gotten. No one handed her fame. No one gifted her records. She wasn't drafted number 1 because she looked the part. She was drafted number 1 because she became the part. And don't forget the way she's been treated on the court. If we're going to talk about fairness, let's talk about the cheap shots, flagrant fouls, and targeted physical plays she's endured in her rookie season. She's been elbowed in the face, shoved, hit off ball, all without the league stepping in to protect her. And when she reacts, she's called soft, or worse, entitled. Imagine if the same happened to Angel Reese or A'ja Wilson. The headlines would read, "Outrage in the WNBA," and the league would be under investigation. But when it's Caitlin, the narrative shifts. Suddenly, she's getting what she deserves. Suddenly, it's justified. This is not equality. This is selective justice.
Caitlin Clark is relatable and popular, and people want to see her play because she's exciting as heck to watch and because she's not filled with anger. People are attracted to joy.
The truth is, Caitlin Clark threatens the status quo. She's forcing the WNBA to evolve faster than it's ready for. She's attracting new sponsors, mainstream attention, record-breaking ticket sales, and global coverage. She's making the sport cool again. And for some people, players, media members, and even scriptwriters, that's terrifying. Because when one player does what a whole league couldn't do in 20 years, it exposes hard truths. It reveals that fans weren't the problem. Presentation was. It reveals that excitement wasn't missing from women's basketball. Stars were. And most importantly, it reveals that greatness doesn't wear a single shade of skin.
Right, and that's what a lot of these women are doing is they feel like what we have done for this game, this young player has come into our game and she's getting way more respect and all that stuff than we are. As she should. The young girl is a baller. The young girl has people watching because of the way she can shoot this basketball like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can't dunk. Steph Curry don't do none of that in the game. He can probably dunk by himself, but he don't really do none of that in the game. He is a shooter, and fans tune in to see Steph Curry. When I look at Caitlin Clark, fans are tuning in to watch her. And you know who that's helping? Everybody else. It's helping the A'ja Wilsons. It's helping everybody else, the Plums, all that. It's helping all of them, the Tarasis.
Caitlin Clark is not just a player. She's a cultural lightning rod, a disruptor, a mirror held up to a league that's long needed to take a hard look at itself. So when the critics come for her, when the jealous fingers point, and when the media twists her story into something ugly, remember this. Caitlin Clark isn't getting more than she deserves. She's getting exactly what she earned. And the world's watching, not because of her color, but because of her impact. And if that makes people uncomfortable, maybe it's time to ask why.
It almost felt like marketers were trying to figure out, like, yeah, we have all of these amazing players and these amazing personalities, but can we push the demographic? And then when Caitlin Clark got to the league, the Angel Reeses got to the league, and they might have been fouled hard. The same thing I saw happen with Shamika Holdsclaw, though.
You see my tooth knocked out?
Yeah,
Rookie season, Jewel Lloyd. My tooth knocked out. I still didn't get it.
So how do you?
It's cool.
T-Clock, how do you feel about the fact that all of a sudden it was, oh, it's too physical. Oh, they're going at him because they're stars. What was your reaction to some of the new viewers and fans to the game thinking that the WNBA was too rough?
It was a crazy season because we have never had so much momentum behind our league, so much support, demand, viewership, all that, accessibility. But the craziness that came with the new fandom was rooted in something other than fandom, right? And I think that's very evident to see across the board. In a lot of ways, it has not been about basketball. Like, we can talk about, you know, people getting fouled. I just showed you my tooth getting knocked out. Like, that's been a part of the game. The game has always been physical. I can tell you the amount of times I've left with bloody lips and eyes. I have bruises all over my body, even from the game last night. You can see bruises on my elbow from last night. Like, it's just a part of the game. So there was no targeting. There was no nothing.
Right.
That narrative that got spun into, oh, the vets hate the rookies hate the vets are going after certain players. It's all bullshit. Like, if I'm just gonna be frank, like, it's all bullshit. What it is racism, right? It gets blown up into, oh, they're going after Caitlin Clark, but no, we're just playing one of the best players that's in this league the way that any other best player, franchise player is gonna get played. Watch how Stewie gets played. Watch how Asia gets played. Watch how Enrique gets played. Watch how Khalid gets played. Go down the list of franchise players for every team. They be getting fucked up every game. It don't matter what position you are, what color you are, what school you came out of. This is how we feed our families. Our job is to go and win, and if we don't win, what happens? We get fired. We lose our jobs. So
facts. Caitlin Clark is getting mauled, no calls. Ryan Clark is a clout chaser that stinks at sports commentary. His co-hosts aren't worth mentioning. Natasha Cloud, aka Natasha Clown, is running the race baiting media because she's average at best in the W, and now she's stuck in Connecticut because she stinks.
So now you've seen it for yourself. They tried to humiliate her on national television. They reduced her greatness to a punchline. They ignored the stats, dismissed the skill, and buried the truth beneath a cheap shot about her skin color. But here's the thing about Caitlin Clark. You can't cancel someone who's carried the game on her back. This isn't just about basketball anymore. This is about how we treat success when it challenges the status quo. It's about how we respond when someone rises higher, faster, and louder than the system expected. Caitlin didn't ask to be a symbol. She just wanted to hoop. But because she's white, successful, and unapologetically fierce, the attacks came fast. From rival players, from bitter fans, from scripted shows trying to write her downfall before her legacy is even complete. But she's still standing, stronger, sharper, smiling through the hate. Because every time they try to knock her down, she just plays harder. Every time they point a finger, she makes them point to the scoreboard instead. Every time they say she doesn't belong, millions of fans show up to say, she's the reason we're here. So if you believe in truth over hate, if you stand for facts over fiction, if you support Caitlin Clark for what she's done, not for how she looks, then drop a CC22 in the comments right now.
Who's going to be the next face of the NBA? We don't get to decide that. The marketplace decides that. The people have chosen Caitlin Clark. They enjoy watching her play, her style, her energy, her shot. Whether it's because her game mirrors one of the greatest players in the NBA in Steph Curry or not, I don't know what it is. It's an intangible thing, right? Yes, we can say she's a dog. Okay, there's been other dogs. Okay, she's a great shooter. There's been other great shooters. She has it. She's got the thing. I remember when the WNBA started. I was thrilled. I was a fan. I couldn't believe it was an opportunity for me, a 5'2", 97-pound girl, to go play professional basketball. That wasn't gonna happen for me, but the idea that it existed was special to me. And now she's offering that to not just little girls, but little boys as well. She's spread the fan base. So
let them know we see through the lies. Let them hear our voices. Because the real assault isn't what happened in a TV script. The real assault is what's happening to authentic greatness in real life, and we're not letting it go unchecked. Caitlin Clark is not a trend. She's not a token. She's a titan in the making, and no narrative, no show, no spin can take that away.